Hey, welcome back, Barbarians, to another Destiny 2 video. Today I want to take a look at the Glacioclasm from the Dawning. So you're going to start off here just by becoming Martha Stewart. We're going to bake a ton of cookies, turn them into whichever vendor you want. There's plenty of ways to bake these cookies as far as getting them in-game. Right here I'm at Devrim K. You get these packages, a gift in return, and these are probably 1 in 10 chance of dropping. You open these, boom, boom, Glacioclasm, boom, acquired. This is a exotic reskin of Arentel, or a legendary, excuse me, and this thing's pretty decent. We're gonna go over the perks and rolls on this. Under pressure, unrelenting, trash. Gonna delete it. I have one with surplus demolitionist, and then surplus and swashbuckler. So I have full bore and small bore as an option, then projection fuse with that increased range plus 10, particle repeater, and then I have surplus and swashbuckler as my 2 perks with a range masterwork on this bad Larry. I mean, look at that range, it's going to be crisp. All the damage testing I'm going to do is actually going to be done with this one. I'm not going to upgrade it, I'm going to keep it at 1 range. I'm sure that would change it a little bit, but I'm not even going to put a mod in it for this video. I do have someone in this video who has half a god roll fusion, so he's going to get a little bit more range than me when we go over the damage testing. So for perks on this one, in column 1 and column 2, there's quite a few different options. And really, one, as we're just going through this, you really just want to use whatever works with your playstyle. I mean, on fusions, you do want range. Stability matters a little bit, but not nearly as much as range. But you know, if your playstyle is something different than the perks I recommend, obviously just go for what works with your playstyle, and that's just going to be best. You'll notice in column 3 on this weapon, you can get 2 of the new perks that dropped with Beyond Light, so it just increases the incentive to get it a little bit, and it goes up to 1410, which is awesome. So it'll be in the game for a while, especially if you love fusions. My recommendation on the god roll: column 1, full bore; column 2, projection, fuse, or liquid coils; column 3, under pressure or surplus; in column 4, high impact reserves or swashbuckler. Again, just with a disclaimer, use whatever works for you. Alright, so into some damage testing. Right here, starting at 10 meters with good old Darcy. Just kind of getting a base here and then going from that. I'm going to start at 10, zoom in. And I'm aiming low. I always aim low with fusions, knowing their spread is going to kick up. I think the next test I do is 15 meters with this thing. And it can reliably kill at a decent range too. That is too far. I'm going to go jump down here. Use Darcy to just dial in this 15 meters. As you can see on screen. And I also reliably kill him here, aiming at the waist and doing 48 per shot. So fusions, if you don't know, have 7 projectiles that have the opportunity to hit the target, and if they don't all hit the target, it'll kind of vary on whether you kill them or not. That was out of range. I think that was 20 meters. I forgot to pay attention to what that was for a distance. And this right here, we're at 17 meters, trying to dial in like the furthest kill range. This is 20, and he kills me with his. So his does have high impact reserves, and he can reliably, what we found out, is kill me at 20 meters. Mine can't necessarily do that. I think I might get one here, but not as reliably. And then from here, I think I go to 23, and he doesn't kill me. Yeah, it leaves me weak, but and then we try 22 after that. I try mine from here, but it's completely useless, and he's crouched, so it's going to make it even harder. 24 from that range, which 24 times 7, what is that, 140, 7 times 4, 28, 168, so it wouldn't kill a Guardian anyway if all of them hit them. Even with him standing up, aiming upper thigh, 25 damage, still not enough nearly to hit him. It could be partly due to my aim. There's definitely some level of randomness to this as well. Alright, and the last thing I just want to showcase here is, I think this is our furthest damage test he kills me with. This is 23 meters. Double checking. And he is kind of mapping me. That's quite the distance. And that's what fusions were used for a while back, is having that really long range pick. And they're very powerful against supers, especially if it's the same archetype super. That I almost got him there, and that was every projection hit him. Um, that was 23 meters, I believe. But I think this thing you can rely on at 19 to 20 meters. There's a few things that vary as far as what roll you get. As you can see, I mapped him there with that one. And lastly, I just want to show you the spread of the bullets. That was his. And then that was his with firmly planted and not. He was just showing me his old air intel. So the difference between, and this cannot roll with firmly planted, which is a great roll. And that is my current roll that I show you in the beginning. That is kind of the spread up and a little bit to the right. So 7 bullets there. So after some damage testing, this thing isn't going to be crazy good. You're just going to see some clips in the background of this. I tried to get a few different clips out of some games of me just killing guardians or damaging them at different distances just to showcase its capability. There's a little bit of lag there. If you're a fusion rifle user, which I am not, so take that with a grain of salt. This thing's great. It's going to be around a while. There's not really any fusions in the game. I mean, you have Gallant Charge. I think that's here to the end of this season, but I mean, if you're a fusion rifle player, there's not much for you right now in the game. So I'm glad they brought this back, to be honest. I wouldn't consider myself... It is my least used weapon inside the Crucible. But I had fun with it, getting these clips. It's a different kind of playstyle for sure. You'd have to have great map awareness and almost some level of predictability on your opponents to know that you're going to get the kill because it takes so long to charge these things up. Now, having said that, with the 860 charge time, there's one, if not 2 perks. I think there's 2 perks that you can get on these as far as the barrel and whatnot to decrease the charge time. So if that's an issue for you, you can decrease it a little bit, but you're not going to get anything crazy. You're not going to make it a different archetype of fusion. This thing definitely hits hard, I noticed, though. I was pairing it with the Mask of Bacchus. I know I use it all the damn time. But it's nice because while I'm dodging and my opponent's kind of disoriented, it gives me a chance to get ready to prep my fusion rifle shot and start to pull the trigger. No, you can't start pulling it while you're dodging, but as soon as you're done, you know what your next move is, and your opponent, in theory, does not. So it kind of gives you a leg up on them, which is kind of nice. And lastly in this video, I really just want to go over how it performs in PvE, PvP, and Gambit, which I do consider Gambit to kind of be its own thing. I'm just going to do this review with the context of fusions themselves, not comparing them to something else you could use that's better in the slot. Gambit, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Mainly because a 6 I landed on because it's not the best choice in general, and I know I'm not comparing it to anything else, but fusions in general don't really thrive in Gambit. Long range weapons perform much better, whether you're invading, whether you're being invaded. The only reason I gave it above a 5 as well is because it's void, so you can take the shields off the wizards. And I think there's Scorn and Minotaurs or Vex have void shields, so you can kind of double down in that sense. But other than that, and this thing can roll with some decent PvE perks, you know, Demolitionist, Swashbuckler, but I'm just focused on PvP mainly in this video as far as showcasing the fusion. But a 6 out of 10, but with the context of if you love fusions and you use them all the time, then this and Gambit, of course, is going to be your go-to because it's kind of the only option currently. And again, if you just want to have fun, I mean, there's just faster ways to kill in Gambit, so a fusion rifle isn't necessarily my go-to choice. PvE activities in general, including strikes, Empire hunts, lost sectors, raids. This I would give a 7.8 out of 10. A strong choice, very high damage against a single target. And depending on the activity, where you are, there's so many different variables. You can choose kind of what you want to utilize, and I think this could serve a role for some of that. It certainly could be used in a Nightfall. Having said that, unfortunately, this particular season doesn't pair well with fusions. You know, they don't get any of the perks as far as anti-barrier or overload or unstoppable. That's shotguns, etc. All the other stuff gets that fancy artifact perks. But this definitely has its place. Again, especially for fusions in the game currently. I think you're going to love this for PvE activities as well. Great range, great lethality against enemies. And lastly, I want to talk about Crucible, where I landed at an 8.3 out of 10. And this is mainly because, again, in the realm of fusion rifles, I think this is up there currently. You know, it's, I think, the best fusion we have in this meta. if you get a good roll. But again, the meta with fusion rifles is so small. And the meta in general, I think, is a little bit too quick and stasis centric for fusion rifles to really thrive. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of slowing down, which really hinders a fusion rifle when you already need the charge time to lead up to a kill. Um, so it's just a little bit unfortunate. I don't see them being that viable in regular sixes. In elimination, you might, or trials, you might see it more, just because you can get that single target pick and you can. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps me out. Drop a comment. I'm curious as to what you think about this fusion and the Donnie in general. What kind of rolls have you gotten? And I'll see you guys in the next video.